he didn't try to save himself. He just reached for me and held on. Welcome to Phoenix Fortis, where stories of resilience, hope, and redemption take flight. I'm your host, Diane. Today, we open a letter from Clara, a woman whose life was irrevocably shaped by one single terrifying moment and the extraordinary love of her father. As a child, Clara survived a plane crash, her life shielded by her dad's own body. Though he made it through the impact, he passed away just minutes later, right there beside her. Clara's story is a powerful testament to the fierce, selfless love of a parent in crisis, a love that transcends fear, that sacrifices without hesitation. It's about how a final whisper in the wreckage became the guiding light for everything that followed. How she turned trauma into a calling and sorrow into sky. This is a story of legacy, of learning to rise again with the weight of memory as your wings. Let's hear Clara's letter. Dear Diane, I love to fly. I always have. As far back as I can remember, my dad would take me to watch planes take off from our local airport. It was our thing, our ritual, just the two of us, staring up the sky like it belonged to us. I say that so you understand how deep this runs, how what happened next changed everything. I was 12. Dad had surprised me with a weekend trip to an air show, a short flight, just the two of us. The sun danced on the wings, the scent of jet fuel mixed with trail mix. We laughed, talked about constellations and how maybe, someday, we'd fly among them. Then came the sputter, a cough from the engine. Silence. The tilt. The drop. I remember my dad grabbing me into a bear hug and just holding on. He tucked my head beneath his chin, shielded me with his body. And in the chaos of metal and fire, I was beneath my father's wings. I heard the sound of tearing metal, and then darkness. When I came to, everything hurt. I was disoriented, bleeding, smoke in the air. The plane was a mangled mess of memories and steel. And then I saw him. Dad was pinned, broken, but awake. His eyes locked onto mine. He reached for me, barely, and found my hand. His grip was weak, but his gaze was steady, calm, fierce, like he wasn't afraid, only determined. He coughed once. I leaned in close, and in the quiet between sirens and fire, he whispered, "Fly, baby girl." Those were his last words. A few more breaths, then he was gone. I was alone, in the wreckage, held only by silence and a command that would change everything. I was told later that had he not held me like that, had he not shielded me with his body, I most likely wouldn't have survived. The years that followed were a blur. Hospitals, therapists, grief that came in waves I didn't know how to swim through. For a long time, I couldn't even look at the sky. Planes made me nauseous. The very sound of an engine overhead made my heart race. But his words, they never left me. "Fly, baby girl." They echoed in dreams, whispered in quiet moments. A command, a question, a promise I didn't know how to keep. Until I was 19. One afternoon, I found myself standing at a small local airfield. I watched a Cessna take off. Nothing dramatic, just lift. And for the first time since the crash, I didn't feel fear. I felt pulled. Within weeks, I signed up for ground school. My hands shook the first time I touched the yoke. My heart pounded during every lesson. But I kept going. Each takeoff was a fight against gravity, inside and out. Each landing was a victory. And slowly, that whisper became my mission. Today, I'm a pilot. Not just a pilot, a flight instructor, a safety advocate, a mentor. I work with engineers to make small aircraft safer. I guide young women who dream of the sky and help them believe they belong there. And every time I take off, I remember that moment, the way he shielded me, the way his arms folded around me like wings. He protected me with the last strength he had. I fly because he carried me through the fire. I fly because I lived. Beneath my father's wings. You gave me life, Dad. Twice. Once when I was born, and once when you told me to fly. With all my love, Clara. Clara's story is a profound testament to a love so pure, so selfless, it doesn't ask for recognition. It simply acts. Her father's final choice wasn't to panic, but to protect, to shield, to give everything he had in his final breath. It's the kind of love that speaks volumes without a single word and leaves an imprint on the heart that time can never erase. And Clara, your bravery in not just surviving that trauma, but in rising again, in transforming your deepest grief into purpose, it's truly inspiring. It's also the very heart of what we strive for here on Phoenix Fortis, to rise from the ashes. You've taken your father's final whisper and turned it into a roaring affirmation of life. You remind us that while grief may try to ground us, the unwavering power of love can teach us how to fly. And Clara, what your father did, that final embrace, it wasn't just instinct. It was legacy in motion. He didn't just protect you, he carried you. You were tucked beneath his wings, and now you fly with your own. Clara, thank you for your letter, for your honesty, and for letting us carry this story with you. That, to me, is the soul of Phoenix Fortis. Not just rising from the ashes, but carrying with us the love that once held us, so that we can hold others too. Your father may be gone, but through you, his love keeps rising. If Clara's story brought someone to mind, someone who helped you rise through fear or transition, we'd love to hear your story. Who told you to fly when you felt grounded? Who gave you the courage to lift off again, even when everything in you wanted to stay on the ground? And if you're still walking through the wreckage, if the sky feels too far to reach, please know this. You're not alone. Not in your grief, not in your healing, not in the waiting. Sometimes we fly because someone believed in us, and sometimes we're still learning how to believe in ourselves. But no matter where you are in your journey, we see you, and we're with you. To all our listeners out there, this episode is for anyone still holding on to the voices they've lost, for the ones who still look to the clouds and whisper, I miss you. If you're still learning how to breathe again, still figuring out how to live after loss, still trying to remember who you are without them, please hear this. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. Whether you're standing in the wreckage or already soaring, know this. Their love didn't fall with them. It rose with you, in your strength, in your story, in the quiet courage it takes to keep going. You are not alone, and we are so incredibly proud of how far you've come. This has been Phoenix Fortis, where stories of resilience, hope, and redemption take flight. I'm Diane, and we'll be back soon with another story of quiet strength, fierce love, and the courage to rise again. Until then, hold tight, breathe deep, And if you'd like more reflections from Diane's hard truths, don't miss our Phoenix Fortis shorts, brief moments of insight for the days you need them most. And as always, keep rising.